The sky burned like an open wound that night. Elias Rowe stood beneath it, squinting through the blue shimmer of the medic outpost's shield dome as alarms pulsed through the corridors. Something massive had entered the planet's atmosphere, a descending flame wrapped in spiraling plasma. He ran outside, his breath frosting in the thin air of the frontier world, boots crunching over the glassy soil. The falling light grew brighter until it became a roaring shape, its tail of fire slicing through the twilight. Then came the impact, an explosion of dust and radiant embers that lit the barren plain like day. Elias shielded his face and stumbled forward. The heat stung his eyes, his medical scanner flickered from the interference. Through the haze, he saw movement. Not debris. Not a drone. Something alive. The form was humanoid but larger, its skin glinting like metal under the settling ash. It lay amid the wreckage, trembling, wings bent at impossible angles, one of them half-torn. The sight froze him where he stood, a woman, and yet not a woman. Her body shimmered between flesh and scale, veins of molten light pulsing beneath her skin. She gasped, her voice faint but clear enough to cut through the storm. "Ouch, it hurts." He dropped to his knees beside her, every instinct as a medic overriding his fear. The air around her sizzled with ionization, melting the frost from his gloves. Her temperature was far beyond survivable for human touch, yet she didn't burn him. He pressed a stabilizer patch to her arm, but the compound vaporized instantly. "Stay still," he murmured, though she likely couldn't understand. Her eyelids fluttered, golden irises flickering with something that wasn't quite pain, wasn't quite rage. A faint hum resonated in the air, like the low vibration of a starship reactor buried deep beneath the earth. The base's AI buzzed through his comms. Unidentified entity detected. Genetic markers incompatible with known species. Retreat, Dr. Rowe. He ignored it. He couldn't leave her. The crash had twisted metal around her torso, a jagged piece spearing through her side. He reached to remove it, but when his hands touched her skin, a surge of warmth shot up his arms, flooding his veins with a tingling current. For a moment, he saw, felt, a memory that wasn't his. A world of mountains glowing from within, enormous shadows soaring across molten skies. Then it was gone, leaving him gasping. The dragon woman opened her eyes fully now, and the glow from her pupils dimmed to a soft amber. Her lips parted, forming human words fractured by an accent older than any star. "Help, me." Elias's heart thudded so hard it hurt. She was dying, he could see it in the erratic pulse of light across her chest. His scanner read collapsing vitals, failing energy signatures. Every protocol screamed for him to call command, to seal the site, to isolate the being. But watching her struggle for breath, hearing that fragile, almost human plea, something inside him cracked. He whispered to no one, "Not tonight." Gathering her gently, he lifted her from the wreckage, her wings folding weakly against his shoulders. The metallic scent of ozone filled his lungs. Above them, the storm clouds twisted into strange spirals of light, as if the planet itself watched what he was doing. As he carried her toward the outpost, she clutched at his uniform with surprising strength. Their eyes met again. In that instant, he felt a tremor run through his body, an invisible thread connecting their heartbeats. He didn't know it yet, but the moment he crossed that threshold, neither human nor dragon would ever be the same again. The medbay lights flickered as Elias laid her on the isolation table. The sensors whirred in confusion, unable to categorize her anatomy. Every scan produced impossible readings, dual hearts beating out of sync, cells that emitted light, bone density beyond titanium. The air smelled faintly of ozone and scorched metal. Her body twitched as arcs of energy rippled across her skin. He could feel the static crawling through his gloves, a charge that seemed alive. He calibrated the nanofield stabilizer, trying to regulate her temperature. The machine groaned and overheated instantly. "No response," he muttered, tapping the control panel. "Come on, stay with me." Her breathing was shallow, the glow beneath her ribs dimming. When he tried a plasma transfusion, her veins rejected the fluid, crystallizing it before it reached her heart. His instruments were useless, her biology operated on laws that made no sense. He stood over her, trembling, as his AI repeated the same warning. Unknown pathogen risk. Recommend termination. He silenced it with a voice command. The thought of destroying her was unbearable. He remembered the look in her eyes, fear, and something else, an understanding. Her lips parted, and she whispered words too faint for the sensors to catch, a sequence of tones that resonated in the air like a soft melody. The lights around them pulsed in rhythm. Then, in the holographic display beside her, strange patterns began to form, fractals of heat and sound intertwined into a living geometry. Elias leaned closer. "What are you trying to show me?" A wave of pain struck her body. She arched her back, wings flaring, the metal restraints glowing red. The patterns on the hologram shifted into a spiral, one he recognized from ancient myth archives. The union of breath. A ritual long dismissed as fantasy, said to merge life energies across species, shared through breath and mind. His heart pounded. The stories warned that no human could survive it, that it was a bridge only dragons could cross. But her vitals were dropping fast. In a few minutes, she'd be gone. He hesitated, palms sweating. "If I try this, it could kill us both." She turned her head weakly toward him, her eyes reflecting the monitor's blue light. "Please," the sound of that single word shattered his hesitation. He disengaged the safety locks and disabled the environmental filters. The sterile air thickened with warmth as he approached her. The symbols from the hologram projected themselves across his skin, glowing like molten veins. He could feel her breath against his face, hot, rhythmic, ancient. He placed his hands on her chest, feeling the pulse of her twin hearts beneath. Closing his eyes, he matched his breathing to hers. For a moment, there was nothing but silence, then the medbay erupted in golden light. His mind was pulled into hers. He saw endless stars, oceans of fire, dragons that sang their names into the void. He felt her pain, her loneliness, her centuries of exile. When he opened his eyes again, the air around them shimmered with energy. Her wound sealed, and her glow steadied. But his vision blurred, and he realized too late, her essence had flowed into him as well. Something inside him had changed forever. When Elias woke, the world no longer sounded the same. Every noise carried layers, harmonics within harmonics, the faint hum of molecular vibration beneath silence itself. He lay on the medbay floor, the consoles around him fried, smoke coiling upward in thin, metallic wisps. His skin glowed faintly where the light had touched him. The taste of metal lingered on his tongue. Across the room, the dragon woman stirred. She was alive, he could feel her heartbeat even before she moved, echoing faintly inside his chest like a distant drum. She sat upright with the grace of something reborn. Her scales shimmered dimly beneath the white light, fading to a soft tone that resembled human skin. For a long moment, she looked at her own hands, flexing her fingers as if seeing them for the first time. Then her gaze met his. There was intelligence there, and wonder. "You, human," she whispered, the words clearer now, her voice both melodic and rough. Elias struggled to rise, clutching the edge of the table. "You're awake," he managed, his throat raw. "You shouldn't be alive." "I am," she said simply, her eyes studying him. "Because you shared your breath." The phrase struck him like lightning. The union of breath, the forbidden merging, had worked. Yet something inside him trembled. His hands were unsteady, his veins glowing faintly blue beneath the skin. His neural implant displayed errors he'd never seen, biochemical interference detected, he felt heat pulsing in rhythm with her own, a resonance between their bodies that refused to fade. He tried to speak, but a surge of pain racked his chest. His vision flashed with alien images, towers of crystal rising from molten lakes, shadows with wings spanning horizons, voices chanting in a forgotten tongue. The medbay's sensors flickered erratically, overwhelmed by their shared energy. When he looked at her again, she was kneeling beside him, her hand against his chest. The touch burned, yet comforted. "Our lives are bound now," she said softly. "You gave part of your flame to mine." He swallowed hard. "I didn't know it would do this." "Neither did I," she murmured. "It was meant for my kind alone. But you crossed the veil." She tilted her head, studying him with childlike curiosity. What kind of creature gives life without knowing the cost? The question left him silent. His training, his orders, his loyalty to the authority, all of it seemed small now. The woman before him was not just a survivor, she was living proof of something ancient, something that defied science. The hum of the base shifted to a low alarm, warning of an incoming transmission. He looked at the console, his biometric data was already being sent to command. They would come. They would find her. She sensed his fear, her expression darkening. "Your people will not let me live." "No," he said, shaking his head slowly, "they won't let us live." Their eyes met again, and in that shared silence, something unspoken passed between them, an understanding that what had begun as an act of mercy had become an act of rebellion. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, though there were no clouds left to make it. Something vast had awakened. The transmission crackled through the medbay's fractured speakers, a cold mechanical voice repeating his name. "Dr. Elias Rowe, your biometric data has triggered a level 5 breach. Remain where you are. Reinforcement units are inbound." He silenced the alert, his heart pounding. Outside, the horizon shimmered with the faint glow of approaching ships. The dragon woman stood beside him, her wings folded tight, her expression unreadable. The light from her skin had dimmed to a pale amber, but he could still feel her presence vibrating through the air, like a living frequency tethered to his own heartbeat. "We don't have long," he said. "They'll dissect us both if they find you here." Her golden eyes flickered, reflecting the pulsing lights of the damaged consoles. "Then we leave." She moved toward the exit with a grace that seemed impossible given her wounds. When she brushed past him, the sensors along the door flickered and died, as if the machines themselves bowed to her presence. Elias grabbed a pack from the shelf, injectors, nanostems, a portable fusion cell, and followed her into the cold, starlit night. The outpost's shield had collapsed, leaving the atmosphere thin and electric. Overhead, the planet's second moon rose, casting a copper glow across the plains. The wreckage of her vessel smoldered in the distance, still pulsing faintly with alien energy. She turned toward it, her expression darkening. "That was my path to the stars," she murmured. "Now it's a tomb." He hesitated before asking, "Who were you before all this?" She looked at him, and for the first time he felt the true weight behind her eyes, memories layered like sediment, entire lifetimes compressed into thought. "Seraph of the celestial brood," she said softly. "Sent to stop what your kind began. You've awakened the core beneath this world, the heart of a dead star. If it burns again, it will consume everything within 1,000 systems." Elias stared at her, disbelieving. "That's impossible. We've mined these planets for decades." "You mined the veins of gods," she answered. Her voice vibrated through the ground, and for an instant, the horizon pulsed with faint light, as if something immense stirred beneath the crust. He felt a tremor move through the soil. Before he could speak, a low rumble filled the sky. 3 black ships descended, their engines howling against the wind. Authority insignias gleamed across their hulls. He pulled Seraph behind a ridge, clutching his weapon even though he knew it would be useless. "They'll track my signal," he whispered. "They're coming for us." Serapha's wings unfurled slightly, casting shimmering arcs of light across the rocks. "Then let them come." Her body shimmered, heat radiating from her like sunlight trapped in flesh. Elias's visor flickered, the air around her distorted, bending light as if gravity itself obeyed her will. He realized with sudden clarity that she was holding back. A living furnace of power contained within mortal form. When she turned toward him, her voice softened. You merged your essence with mine. You are part of this now. If you stay, you burn with me. If you flee, I still feel you die. The ships drew closer, their searchlights slicing the darkness. Elias took a breath, his pulse echoing hers. For the first time in his life, he felt something greater than fear, an understanding that this connection, however impossible, was worth every risk. Then we burn together, he said. And as the first beam of light swept over them, Sereth spread her wings wide, igniting the night with the glow of a newborn sun. The air split open with a roar as the first pulse beam struck the ridge. Stone and ash erupted around them. Elias covered his face, his lungs burning with ozone. Sereth rose amid the chaos, her wings unfurling like molten glass, scattering fragments of light. The authorities' drones swarmed through the smoke, metallic spheres bristling with ion cannons, moving in perfect formation. She let out a low hiss that trembled through the ground, and the drones froze midair, their lights flickering out one by one. The silence that followed was unnatural. Then every drone collapsed, their metal shells liquefying as if under invisible heat. Elias stared, unable to speak. Sereth's eyes blazed faintly, her breath coming fast. I can't keep doing this, she whispered. The fire inside me, your bond feeds it. He reached for her arm, feeling the thrum of power beneath her skin. It was like touching a star. Then we need to move before it consumes you, he said. They ran through the dust toward the abandoned mining tunnels carved deep into the planet's crust. Inside, the darkness swallowed them. The air hummed faintly with residual energy from the long-dead drills. As they descended, the glow from Sereth's body illuminated the walls, metallic veins that pulsed faintly in rhythm with her heart. These tunnels lead to the core, Elias murmured, checking the flickering map on his wrist display. If there's something beneath us, this is where we'll find it. Sereth's gaze wandered over the walls, her voice distant. This metal is alive. Your people harvested what they didn't understand. Each strike of your drills wounded the world's heart. The flame sleeping below stirs because of it. She paused, her expression tightening as she sensed something. And it's waking faster now, drawn to us. A tremor rippled through the tunnel. The walls glowed brighter, threads of liquid light running like veins through stone. Elias felt his body respond, his pulse syncing with the rhythm of the core. His implants overloaded, warning symbols flashing red. It's reacting to me, he gasped. Not you, she said softly. Us. He looked down at his hands. The faint blue glow under his skin pulsed in time with her amber light. Their breaths matched, their heartbeats one. For a moment, the air shimmered around them, warping gravity itself. Loose stones lifted and hung suspended, spinning lazily in midair. Then came the sound, a deep, resonant hum that shook the tunnel. A beam of energy lanced upward through the rock, opening a breach to the surface. Through it, they could see the sky burning with the approach of more ships. Elias realized with horror that the energy from their bond had become a beacon. Sereth turned toward him, wings trembling. They will follow this light. They will come with weapons that can kill stars. And when they do, the core will awaken in rage. He grabbed her hand. Then we stop it, together. Her eyes softened. If you stay bound to me much longer, your body will turn to fire. He smiled faintly, the air around them crackling. Then let it. Maybe that's what we were meant to become. Above them, thunder rolled again, not from the sky, but from beneath the world itself, as if something vast and ancient was breathing for the first time in eons. The ground fractured beneath their feet, the tunnel trembling as molten light surged upward from the depths. Elias and Sereth struggled to keep their balance as waves of heat rippled through the air. The walls pulsed like veins of a living creature, each beat echoing their shared heartbeat. Above them, the authorities' warships tore through the clouds, their engines howling like gods of judgment. The calm in his ear crackled with static, orders, threats, demands. But he ripped it off and hurled it into the fire. There was no turning back now. Sereth fell to her knees, her body flickering between form and flame. The core is awake, she said through labored breaths. It feels our bond. It knows what we are. Elias crouched beside her, his skin glowing like tempered glass. The heat no longer burned him. He could feel the pulse of the star beneath the planet's crust, a heartbeat calling to him, to them both. We can stop it, he said, voice shaking but resolute. We can calm it, if we merge completely. Her eyes widened. No human can survive that. The fire will consume your mind. He smiled faintly. Maybe I stopped being only human when I brought you back. Outside, the sky split open. A massive warship descended, blotting out the moons. Its energy cannon began to charge, drawing light from the atmosphere itself. The ground quaked. Sereth reached for him, her hand trembling. If we do this, she whispered, we won't come back. Elias took her hand, fingers interlacing with hers. Then we become something new. They rose together, the air thick with blinding radiance. Their bodies began to dissolve into light, his human form fracturing into streams of data and heat, hers into wings of golden plasma. The union reignited the runes that had once marked her skin, now mirrored on his. A pillar of pure energy erupted upward, piercing the clouds. The warship fired, but the beam disintegrated before touching them, swallowed by the surge of power radiating from their fusion. The planet's core responded like a living sun waking from slumber. The molten veins calmed, their furious glow shifting into a steady rhythm. The tremors ceased. Above, the warships faltered as their systems went dark, engines silenced by an unseen force. For a moment, all of creation held its breath. In the blinding white expanse of the energy storm, Elias felt her thoughts merging with his, memories of stars being born, of ancient skies filled with winged light. He whispered through the merging, Sereth, what are we now? Her voice came to him like wind through fire. We are the bridge. Flame and flesh. Two hearts, one breath. The explosion of light expanded across the system, washing over ships, mountains, and oceans alike. When it faded, the world was silent. The dead star's heart had reignited, not in destruction, but in rebirth. Centuries later, explorers would speak of a sun reborn in the Orion expanse, orbiting a quiet world bathed in perpetual dawn. And at its core, fused within the living light, they would find two shapes intertwined, one human, one dragon, eternal guardians of the flame that once nearly consumed them both.